analyst has described the just concluded October 5th local government polls in Rivers State as a ploy by the Rivers State government to take over power at the grassroots. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Air, a political analyst, Ugochukwu Ifeanyi, described the elections as a mere political charade that has no legal processes and procedure for a credible election.
What happened yesterday was a sham, was a charade, in the sense that from the onset, we saw an electoral process that was shrouded in secrecy. The electoral primary process that nobody heard about. The primaries of the political parties that produced those purported candidates.
Irregularities at the elections.
Positions given those that came first in each local government, those that came second, and those that came third are thereabout. And even INEC, when they are announcing results, we announce even parties that got 0 votes. That is how election results have been announced. So I want to put it on record before the world that there was no, in as much as the chairman of RISE could not specify how those election results trickled in, how each party fared, and what numbers the local government, those who won election and those who lost got, it is not a declaration.
This is coming as the Action People's Party won 22 chairmanship positions out of 23 in the Rivers State local government election. The Chief Election Officer of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, made this known on Saturday in Port Harcourt, the state capital. While declaring the results, Enebeli said the announcement was suspended in a local government area because the results collation was ongoing. Enebeli clarified that the results of a local government area and the 319 councillorship positions would be announced upon the conclusion of the collation. Analyst has criticized the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, to declare his political party to Rivers people and avoid confusing the citizens. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Air, a socio-political analyst, Churchill Wally, tasked Governor Fubara to clear his political positions with Action People's Party.
I want it to be clear that the governor of Rivers State has the flag of PDP as the governor of PDP. And clearly, everybody knows that the governor of Rivers State has not been given the due position in the party as the leader of or one of the leaders of the
Ali blamed the Rivers APC Secretariat explosion on political propaganda.
It has also been clear to the people of Rivers State that whatsoever thing that is happening in either PDP Secretariat or APT Secretariat does not really concern a particular party. Nobody knows whether it's APPDP that did it or PDAPC that did it.
ATN reports building and other property were shattered in the early hours of Saturday as explosives suspected to be dynamite shattered the Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress along Aba Road in Port Harcourt, River State capital. The explosion brought down the gate of the Secretariat while doors, windows and other property were destroyed. This is the second time the Chief Tony Okocha-led APC would be experiencing such an attack on his party secretariat this year. Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio has led members of the National Assembly from Akwa Ibom State to offer condolences to Governor Omoino following the passing of his wife, Pastor Patience Eno. In his remarks, Senator Akpabio expressed deep sorrow over the death of the First Lady, describing it as a significant loss to the family, the state and the nation at large, adding that Pastor Patience Eno would be greatly missed for her virtues and support. Akpabio described the late First Lady as a virtuous woman who stood steadfastly by her husband and stressed that her humility and unwavering support helped the governor achieve his inclusive and unifying vision for Akwa Ibom State. The Senate President assured Governor Eno that he was not alone in this difficult time and urged him to stay strong, especially as a Christian who knows that his late wife was a woman of God. Governor Umoino, in his response, thanked the Senate President and his delegation for their show of love and solidarity and also congratulated Akpabio on his conferment with the national honor of GCON. Deputy Commander Narcotics at the National Drug Enforcement Agency, Nandi Ada, has decried a high rate of drug abuse in Cross River State. The NDLEA disclosed this during a courtesy visit to Dr. Henry Egbe Ayuk, the State Commissioner for Health, and also raised concerns over the absence of rehabilitation centers in the state and stressed urgent need to establish one or more rehabilitation facilities. She called on the state government to revamp the Drug Control Committee and strengthen it to achieve the aim of discouraging drug abuse in the society, and equally decried the slow-paced operations of the State Drug Control Committee. The Commissioner for Health, Ayuk, spoke of the need for a synergy between the agency and the government, adding that such synergy has become imperative given the growing rate of drug abuse, especially among young people. Ayuk requested for a concept note from the NDLEA highlighting the body's expectations from government, assuring of commitment to tackling drug abuse and other issues that are capable of debasing the moral fabric of the society. Imo State Police Command has denied reports that its operatives rejected 2 robbery suspects arrested by the government-backed local security network, popularly known as Ebube Agu. This is coming after the Ebube Agu security outfit following an alleged robbery incident that took place on August 31st, where one Chidi Okoli was shot. Information obtained from the victim of the robbery incident revealed that 2 suspects who were arrested by Ebube Agu security network were rejected by the Olu Police Division on the ground that the vigilante group held the suspects in their custody for longer than it's required by law. Reacting to the development, the Imo State Police Command, through its public relations officer, ASP Henry Okoye, said it contacted the area commander in charge of Olu Division regarding the incident. The police spokesperson said he contacted the area command Olu Division regarding the suspects who were not rejected and simply requested for a medical checkup for the suspects who have been held by Ebube Agu for an extended period. Ezinano and Umuzuocha communities, both in Oka South local government area, clashed over a protracted land tussle. Both communities have been at loggerheads over a piece of land, which both communities were laying claims, while hundreds of indigents of Ezinano community, including their leaders, women and youths, had stormed the land at the weekend, when heavily armed men of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the State Police Command ordered them out on the prompting of Umuzuocha community. The fracas was, however, arrested through the intervention of Anambra State Commissioner of Police, CP Nange Obono Itam, while members of Ezinano community said they visited the land in protest when they heard that Umuzuocha people had started building on the disputed land. Police Public Relations Officer of the State Command, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, had urged the leaders and people of Ezinano community to come forward with a formal complaints to the police in the state. People of the newly created Enu Agu Autonomous Community, Akbugu, in Nkanu West local government area of Enugu State, have lauded Governor Peter Mba for the rapid transformation witnessed in the state since his assumption of office in May last year. They distanced themselves from a purported protest against the monarch and the town union to the Enugu State House of Assembly and the Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs, saying the protesters were not members of the community. A statement from the media office of the community says the President General of Enugu Autonomous Community, Akbugo Ikenna Agbodo, described the protesters led by an opposition party politician chieftain as imposters, urging the state government and members of the public to disregard the protesters and their requests. Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has honored 2 teachers in the disability sector with cash awards of 500,000 naira each. The governor made the gesture during the celebration of the Teachers' Day in the state. Mrs. Adetoun Agbola, Special Advisor on Special Education and Social Inclusion, hailed the governor's commitment to inclusion, while the recognition serves as a moral booster for the teachers, marking the first time such a gesture has been made during the Teachers' Day celebration in the state. She said the awards signal that the voices of teachers working within the disability community have been heard, reinforcing the governor's pledge to support the community in the state. Kwara State government has urged people living around the riverbanks in the various areas of the state to relocate to higher ground following persistent rainfall recently in the state. A statement issued on Sunday by the State Commissioner for Environment, Nafisat Buge, to guard against impending flooding in the state, adding that the state has been experiencing persistent rainfall between Wednesday and Sunday, leading to reports of flooding affecting people around the Asa River in Unity Road, Taiwo Isale and Isale Koko in the Ilorin South and Ilorin East areas of the state respectively. The commissioner described the situation as a global phenomenon which can be attributed to the effects of climate change in the environment as a result of both natural phenomena and human activities. A statement signed by the press secretary of the Ministry of Environment, Kamaldeen Aliagan, said the present administration, under the leadership of Governor Abdul Rahman Abdul Razak, is deeply concerned about the impending flood situation and is taking proactive measures to ensure public safety. She said to curb the situation, the government had embarked on the continuous dredging of the Asa River, construction of embankments, desilting of drainages across the state, provision of additional waste bins, as well as expansion of dump sites for proper waste disposal, encouragement of waste recycling and irrigation system for farmers, and regular advocacy and sensitization on environmental issues via the media and interface with relevant stakeholders, as well as enforcement whenever necessary. Pensioners in Ogun State have pleaded with Governor Dapo Abiodun to provide national health insurance so that retirees who subscribe to the scheme would enjoy a 50% discount. Speaking on behalf of the retirees, the Ogun State Chairman of National Union of Pensioners, Waidi Oloyede, said the health relief would ease the burden of many of them who were battling with one ailment or the other due to old age and other factors. Oloyede, who spoke at the Pensioners' Day celebration held at Abeokuta, said the paltry sums are grossly inappropriate to purchase drugs for various health challenges, nor meets the demands of the present-day economic realities, and could help with the implementation of the consequential adjustment to ease the pains of the economical battered senior citizens. Oloyede applauded Abiodun for tackling addressing the backlog of unpaid pensions with a quarterly release of 500 million naira, which he said was later increased to 2 billion naira and was capped up with the recent release of 5.3 billion naira. Operatives of the Nasarawa State Police Command have arrested 4 suspected armed robbers and recovered a stolen vehicle. The Police Public Relations Officer of the command, DSP Rahman Nansel, said in a statement on Sunday that while Salim Hussaini, Abdul Qadir Musa and Dimas Danja were arrested by operatives attached to the Mararaba A Division, another suspect, Mohammed Aliyu Abubakar, was nabbed in the New Karu area. According to the spokesman, a fabricated rifle, a knife and criminal charms were recovered during the first operation, while a blue Toyota Camry with registration number RBC 980DA was recovered from Abubakar. A resident of the Mabushi area of Abuja, he said The suspects have confessed to belonging to a gang of armed robbers terrorizing the Mararaba area and its environs. Nasarawa State Police Command says it is investigating a case of child theft involving a suspect, Khadija Aliyu, who was arrested in Kefi local government area of the state. Police Public Relations Officer of the command, Rahman Nansel, said the suspect pretended to be pregnant and allegedly stole the baby after naming ceremony. He said the Commissioner of Police, Umar Nadada, had directed thorough investigation into the matter. Terrorists struck again in Katsina State, killing 9 security operatives and injuring 1 other after the security operatives were ambushed in Faskari and Matazu local government areas of the state. The victims were members of the Katsina State Community Watch Corps and Vigilante Corps, while Faskari and Matazu are among the local governments troubled by terrorist activities in the state. Eyewitnesses said the terrorists in separate attacks between Yankara and Faskara on ambushed members of the Katsina State Community Watch Corps, killing some of them, while 2 vigilante officers working to maintain security in the region were also killed. The secretary of the vigilante group in Matazu, Jamilu Aliyu, confirmed their attack to Sunday, while the state governor, Diko Umaru, had sympathized with the families of the deceased. A statement by his chief press secretary, Ibrahim Kaula, praised the bravery and sacrifice of the security operatives who died in the line of duty. All Progressives Congress has congratulated candidates of the party in the local government polls conducted by the Benue Independent Electoral Commission on Saturday. Chairman of the Benue chapter of the party, Comrade Austin Agada, congratulated the candidates on their resounding victories. A statement released on Sunday by the publicity secretary of the party, Daniel Ihomom, said the result of the polls shows how well established, well-liked and widely accepted the APC is in Benue State. Agada said the victory in the local council polls will mark the beginning of developmental activities at the 3rd tier of government in the state. People's Democratic Party in Sokoto State has conducted its state congress where no fewer than 2,567 delegates re-elected Bello Gorunyo as the party chairman. The congress, which was held at the party secretariat, also elected Abubakar Bashir as the secretary, Yahaya Ibrahim as the treasurer, Abdurrahman Abubakar as the legal advisor, while Hassan Sayinawal was re-elected as the party's publicity secretary. The Congress was witnessed by a delegation from the national headquarters of the party, led by Mokta Luga, and while congratulating the new executives, the state's party leader, Senator Aminu Tambuwal, urged the new executives to ensure inclusivity, transparency, and accountability in the party's dealings. The former Sokoto governor prayed for divine guidance for the new state leadership. Following the heavy downpour which started on Friday till the early hours of Sunday, over 80 households have been displaced by flood in some communities of Langtang South local government area of Plateau State. Eyewitnesses say the incident had thrown the residents into confusion and panic as most of the affected persons are now stranded and in search of places of refuge. According to Nandol Solomon, a resident of Angwang Barat in Sabongida community of Langtan South, some of the displaced persons are currently staying with neighbors, friends and relatives, while others are still stranded. Also, Nyantim Nimilam, the Community Development Secretary of Sabongida, described the incident as unfortunate. Academic Staff Union of Universities, Saadu Zongor University in Bauchi State, has expressed its readiness to make public the names of 30 PhD holders who resigned from the university. A statement by the ASU Sazu branch chairperson Awal Hussain, who was responding to a rejoinder by the university's public relations officer Awal Hassan, which quoted publication stating that 30 PhD holders resigned from the university, said ASU has a verified list of the state number of staff who resigned and will release it at the appropriate time. He said the rejoinder issued by the SAZU spokesman was unfortunately and misleading and represented the issues raised by the union as inaccurate, which is mischievous and misleading. The statement said the development could compel many ASU members to reconsider their tenure at SAZU or join the over 30 academic staff who have already left the university or shifted their services to neighboring institutions where they feel their contributions are more secure. The ASU SAZU chairperson insisted that the inaccurate account of the deceased from the university further validates ASU's record of over 30 PhD holders who have left the institution and called for an investigation to uncover the truth. Kano State Governor Alhaji Abba Yusuf has been awarded a prestigious fellowship by the United States Chartered Institute of Management and Leadership. A statement by the governor's spokesperson Sanusi Tofa said the institute had not conferred the fellowship upon Governor Yusuf but also honored him with an award of excellence. Recognizing his significant contributions to human capital development and resource management, the recognition was conferred by representatives of the Institute's Governing Council, led by Dr. Stephen Longe, during an investiture ceremony held at the Abuja Governor's Lodge. Dr. Longe said the decision to honor Governor Yusuf with the Institute's highest fellowship and award of excellence came after extensive research into his effective management of both human and financial resources and highlighted his dedication to promoting good governance in Kano, Nigeria's most populous state. Responding, Governor Yusuf, who expressed gratitude for the fellowship, also thanked the Institute for recognizing his leadership qualities on an international platform. You're watching the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break to stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Many thanks for staying with us. This is the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Major ethnic groups in Nigeria have made a renewed call for the return of the country to a regional system of government, saying it is the only way to drive development. The demand came after reported division among senators at a two-day retreat on amendments to the 1999 Constitution, organized by the Senate Committee on Constitution Review, while some lawmakers also spoke against regionalism. The Senate's leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, representing APC Ekiti Central, said there was no proposal before the review committee on the return to a regional system of government, adding that a regionalism is a system of government that allows each region to control the resources in its territory and pay royalties to the central government. He also said the system was practiced in Nigeria between the 1950s and 1966, before the introduction of a unitary government by Nigeria's first military head of state, late General Aguiyi Ironsi. While there have been repeated calls for the return of regional government by some prominent Nigerians, especially those from the southwest. Speaking on the matter, the Northern Elders Forum said the return to a regional system of government would ensure prosperity for the country. A spokesperson, Abdulaziz Suleiman, said regionalism could solve the nation's pressing challenges, including economic disparities, adding that it had potential for enhanced local governments and would facilitate an even distribution of wealth, thereby reducing economic imbalances that had historically defined Nigeria. Nigerian Union of Teachers says 23 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory have implemented the 65-year-old retirement age for teachers. The national president of the union, Titus Amba, who disclosed these in Abuja, said in 2020, former President Muhammadu Buhari announced the new retirement age for the teachers, and the retirement age was increased from 60 to 65 years. The Nigerian Union of Teachers said it was worried about the non-declaration of vacancies and the resultant stagnation of teachers of Directorate Cadre who are teaching in the unity schools. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has asked President Bola Tinubu to take action against states that have failed to conduct credible local government elections. Specifically, Serap wants the president to direct Olawale Edun, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, to withhold allocations from the states until they comply, while advocating for democratic accountability and transparency in the allocations of funds to only democratically elected local government councils from the Federation account and not any other body or institution. Serap also urged him to provide details of the number of local government councils that have directly received federal allocations and whether the councils are democratically elected, as provided for by the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended and ordered by the Supreme Court in its judgment of 11 July 2024. Serap urged him to promptly invite the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission and Economic and Financial Crime Commission to jointly track and monitor the spending of FAC allocations by democratically elected local government councils across the country. The statement, signed by Serap Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare, the organization said government has the obligation to enforce the Nigerian Constitution and to prevent public wrong by state governors, stressing that it is the constitutional obligation to ensure accountability for the spending of federal allocations and immediate compliance with the judgment by the Supreme Court and the rule of law. And now we move on to business news. Federal government has approved over 840 billion naira for the rehabilitation of the Uja Kaduna Zaria Kano dual carriageway, which traverses the Federal Capital Territory, Kaduna and Kano states. Minister of Works Engineer David Umahi disclosed these at a meeting with representatives of the main contractor, Julius Beja Nigeria PLC, in Abuja. A statement signed by the Minister's Special Advisor on Media, Honorable Oji Uchenna Oji, on Sunday said Umahi charged a contractor to fast-track the completion of the projects because of the premium placed on them by President Bola Tinubu, as well as Nigeria supplying it. While speaking during the meeting, Umahi explained that the Federal Executive Council at its meeting of 23rd September 2024 approved the rescoping and downward review of the contracts for the rehabilitation of the Abuja, Kaduna, Zaria, Kano dual carriageway in the FCT, Kaduna and Kano states, and the revised estimated total cost augmentation of the contracts for the construction of Bodo Boni Road with bridges across the Opobo Channel, routes 430 in Rivers State. He also tasked contractors handling federal government's projects on the need for corporate nationalism in price negotiation in the face of the daunting economic challenges facing Nigeria, and urged the contractor to mobilize in the 4 sections of the Abuja, Zaria, Kaduna, Kano projects to finish the job within 14 months. Management of AIPCC Energy, owners of Edo Refinery, has commenced 80,000 barrels per day refinery expansion in Koko, a border town between Edo and Delta State. This was after the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority concluded its crude distillation assessment on the project. A statement by the head technical operations, Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, Engineer Shegun Okeni, at the weekend said the company is expecting to export the first cargo from the refinery by May 2025. Okeni listed the byproducts of the cocoa expansion to include EGO, HPFO, naphtha and gas, adding that the company is hopeful that by the time the plant is completed, NUPRC would have allocated crude to the refinery through domestic crude supply obligation. This is coming after the regulatory agency had earlier issued an operational license to Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited, Ologbo in Ikpoba, Oka local government area of Edo State. And the issuance of operational license is the final stage of approval from the regulatory authority, which implies that the plant can now fully operate as a refinery. The Regulatory Authority Chief Executive Officer Ahmed Farouk, in a ceremony, handed the certificate to the parent company of Edo Refinery and Petrochemical Company Limited. After 5 days of keeping mum, the federal government says it has officially commenced the sale of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, who disclosed these in line with the Federal Executive Council directive, said the sale of crude oil and refined petroleum products in Naira has officially commenced as of October 1st, 2024. This is coming following a meeting of the Implementation Committee chaired by the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, to conduct a post-commencement review of the crude oil and refined product sales in Naira initiative. He commended the strategic initiative and bold step taken by the President Bola Tinubu-led administration on Nigeria's economy towards fostering growth, stability and self-sufficiency, especially as the country continues to navigate the complexities of global markets. Oil marketers and domestic refiners have urged the federal government to provide details about the Naira for crude deal following the announcement by the Federal Ministry of Finance that the deal started on October 1st, 2024. This is coming after the federal government said it had commenced the sales of crude oil and other refined products in Naira. The announcement was welcomed by the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria and the Petroleum Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, but the operators asked the government to provide details about the deal. The Petroleum Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria applauded the commencement of the initiative, stating that the growth of the Naira is crucial for all stakeholders in the oil sector. The Petron President, Billy Gillis-Harry, in an interview on Saturday, urged the NNPC and other parties involved to release the details of the agreement, especially on pricing, to calm the fears of Nigerians on a possible fuel price hike. On his part, the Publicity Secretary of the Crude Oil Refinery Owners Association of Nigeria, Eche Idoko, commended the government for the initiative, but could not provide more details. Central Bank of Nigeria says it sold $543.6 million to authorized dealer banks at the Nigerian foreign exchange markets between 06 and 30th September 2024. CBN disclosed these in a statement at the weekend detailing the breakdown of the FX interventions. According to the statement signed by CBN Director of Financial Markets Departments, Omolara Duke, the FX sales conducted during the period under review was to reduce the FX volatility, driven by demand high for commodity importations and seasonal demand, adding that FX was sold between 1,530 Naira and 1,580 Naira per dollar rates to eligible dealer banks in September 2024. However, Naira stood at 1,631.21 Naira and 1,670 per dollar at the close of work. Naira lost 89.27 Naira against the dollar at the official foreign exchange market in the first week of October 2024. This comes as the Naira ended the week at 1,631.21 Naira per dollar from 1,541.94 exchange rate on September 30, 2024, adding that the Naira had weakened by a significant 89.27 Naira against the dollar. Further analysis showed that the Naira, despite recording mixed sentiments of gains and losses at the official FX market in the period under review, has predominantly depreciated. Meanwhile, at the black markets, the Naira gained 30 Naira to close the week at 1,670 Naira per dollar, compared to 1,700 Naira it started that month. Federal government has partnered with Trans-Sahara Consortium to tackle the country's significant trade deficit by boosting soybean yields, increasing production volumes and enhancing sugar production capacity. Nigeria continues to rely heavily on imports for much of its food, with reports indicating that the nation's agricultural trade deficit reached 1,037 trillion naira in 2023. And this marked the fifth consecutive year in which imports exceeded exports, with agricultural imports totaling 2.281 trillion naira, while exports stood at only 1.244 trillion naira. A statement issued by the Ministry of Finance following a meeting between the CEO of Trans-Sahara Consortium and the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, held in Abuja. The ministry said the partnership aims to establish a sugarcane processing plant and cultivate 3 million hectares of soybean across the country. The statement highlighted that the projects are intended to reduce the trade deficit by improving soybean yields, increasing production volumes, and enhancing the nation's sugar production capacity. During the meeting, Edun expressed enthusiasm for the partnership, noting that it aligns with President Tinubu's strategic goals of bolstering food security and strengthening the agricultural sector, and also stressed the potential transformative impacts of the initiatives on Nigeria's economy through innovation and large-scale farming. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. Huge fireball lit up the night sky and plumes of smoke rose over South Beirut early on Sunday as Israel unleashed intense airstrikes targeting Hezbollah nearly a year since the Gaza war erupted. Israeli forces were in high alert ahead of Monday's anniversary of Hamas' October 7 attack, which sparked the war. And after a devastating year-long conflict in Gaza, Israel has now shifted its focus northwards, so to Hezbollah, Hamas' Iran-backed ally in Lebanon. Lebanon's officials said the Hezbollah stronghold in South Beirut was hit by more than 30 strikes, which were heard across the city, while Israel's military said it conducted a series it launched assault drones against an Israeli military base. Federal government says no Nigerian life has been lost in Lebanon amid the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. And as Israel intensifies its airstrikes in Lebanon, the Nigerian government has commenced preparations to evacuate its citizens from the conflict zone. A statement by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson, Ambassador Eche Obuebe, said the government confirmed that the Nigerian embassy in Lebanon has been actively working to ensure the safety of Nigerians. The statement said the government is committed to protecting its nationals during the crisis, adding that the Nigerian embassy had previously advised citizens in Lebanon to voluntarily evacuate, with commercial flights still operational. This comes as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah escalates, with Israeli airstrikes targeting Hezbollah strongholds across Lebanon and ground troops conducting operations near the border. Country President and International Director of United Nations Positive Livelihood Award Center, Professor Funmilayo Adesanya Davis, has urged the leaders of Palestine and Israel to find a peaceful and lasting solution to the ongoing conflict between the two Middle East countries. Adesanya Davis lamented the prolonged reprisal attacks has caused immense suffering, displacement, and economic hardship for the people of both nations, adding that conflict has resulted in severe humanitarian crisis with thousands of innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. She said there was urgent need for the international communities to come together to demand an immediate ceasefire and negotiate a lasting peace agreement, adding that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has broader implications for regional dynamics and alliances. She also said, as the representatives of the United Nations poll are demanding and soliciting for world peace, called on the UN, governments and organizations to join them in demanding an end to the Palestine-Israel war. Sue Gray, Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, has resigned, according to a statement from Downing Street on Sunday. Gray is expected to take on a new role as a Prime Minister's envoy for nations and regions. Labour has confirmed that Gray will be replaced by Morgan McSweeney, who previously served as Chief Advisor to the Prime Minister. Gray's resignation comes amid speculation about her role and reports of a power struggle within Downing Street. Voting began in Tunisia's presidential election on Sunday with no real opposition to the incumbent Kais Saied, who is widely tipped to win as his most prominent critics remain behind bars. 3 years after Said staged a sweeping power grab, the election is seen as a closing chapter in Tunisia's experiment with democracy, while for more than a decade, the North African country had taken pride in being the birthplace of the Arab Spring uprisings against dictatorship. Ahead of polling day, there were no campaign rallies or public debates, and nearly all the campaign's posters in city streets featured Said, and with little hope for change in a country mired in economic crisis. Much of the electorate has displayed a mood of resignation. New York-based Human Rights Watch has said that more than 170 people are detained in Tunisia on political grounds or for exercising the fundamental rights, while jailed opposition figures include Rachid Ghannouchi, head of the Islamist-inspired opposition party Ennahda, which dominated political life after the revolution. Also detained is Abir Mouassi, head of the Free Destourian Party, which critics accuse of wanting to bring back the regime ousted in 2011. Here now is ATN Sports News. Victor Osimhen has scattered home his first Turkish Super League award soon after joining Galatasaray on a season-long loan from Napoli. The Nigerian international's impressive goal against Kamsim Pasa has been voted the goal of the week and received a significant number of votes and securing 77.96% of the total. Osimhen scored his first goal and followed it up with his first brace, but it was not enough to secure all 3 points of the Turkish champions, who gave up a 3-goal lead to allow the visitors a share of the spoils. The 25-year-old showcased his skills and decisiveness to volley home with his left foot after receiving a pass from former Napoli teammate Dries Matem Topu his team 2-0 up. Despite missing preseason due to transfer complications, Osimhen has quickly become a key player for Galatasaray, having been involved in scoring or assisting in all 4 of his appearances for the club, and took his season tally to 2 goals and 4 assists in 4 games for the Lions since joining on loan from Napoli. Atletico Madrid winger Rashidat Ajibade has been voted Spanish La Liga's F's Player of the Month for September. Ajibade was recognized for her exemplary performances for Atletico Madrid during the month under review. The 24-year-old registered 5 goals and 2 assists in 4 league appearances in September. Atletico Madrid occupy 3rd position on the table behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. And now we move on to entertainment news. Afrobeat singer David Adeleke, aka Davido, has clarified that he is from a respectful family, contrary to what some people think. He said his occasional misdemeanors as a celebrity don't mean he didn't have a proper upbringing. Davido disclosed these during a courtesy visit to the Olu of Warri in Delta State. And that's it on the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. We told you that analysts decry election irregularities in Rivers State. Akpabio leads NAS members to console and ethnic groups call for regional government. We also told you the federal government begins crude $4 sales scheme, says Edun. Israeli airstrikes rock Beirut. And in sports, we told you that Osimhen wins first award. And in entertainment, we told you that Davido says he's from respectful family. That's it on the Global News. Thank you so much for watching. I am Victor Peter. You can follow us on our social media platforms. Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. I am Victor Peter. Many thanks for watching. Stay with us.